trying to save your face, but need some loving, girl. No, no, I have it just to decorate your place.
Hello, Music Multiverse listeners, and welcome to Beyond Your Radio Unknown Sundays. Yes, that's right. It's time to talk about another band, artist, or something in the music multiverse that, well, you might not relatively be known to the masses, that our watchers, our collectors, listeners might be interested in, a rabbit hole, so to speak, to go down. That can be the past or the present. This one this week happens to be the past and the present. Please remember that this is an extension of our Beyond Your Radio's article section, and you can see the full detail written there by me. There are links today, quite a few of them, because there's a lot of things that Harry Manx touches. So this Unknown Sunday happens because of beautiful wine connection. Isn't that how all things should start? With a wine connection? Now, that's not how the Grateful Dude and I started our connection, but he's joining us on the show tonight. That's right. Our connection actually started over, restaurant equipment and supplies, but the wine and the beer was flowing at the particular restaurant. But anyway, that's another story for another time.
Long story.
Long story, yes. So this one starts with Deb Armitage Hicks Maloney, panelist of Beyond Your Radio, in her first life as a longstanding member at Trius Winery in Niagara-on-the-Lake. A wonderful winery with respectable reds for the region and top-notch dry regional whites. Now, we've been on many occasions, but the best times were before it became Trius, named from the red that became the signature of Hillebrand Winery. Yes, in 1991, it somehow was hailed as the best red wine in the world. I will say it was delicious, but I do recall an evening there where we were making our own blends by mixing bottles and pouring stuff back into the spittoon thing in the center, where I took that particular centerpiece and said, bottle that. We're going to call that backwash red. I think that was better, but that's just me. But hey, we're not here to talk wine. While now it is very much a world-class winery and I can't afford to go there for a tasting, I spent 2 marvelous times on the grounds witnessing some fabulous musicians entertain all day and night long at their jazz and blues at the winery festivals. Now, jazz was on one night and blues was on another. Could you discern between the two was a difficulty. I don't remember whether I was at the jazz one or the blues one. Now, I kind of think it was the blues one because this is Sue Foley. She signed all this with Peter, what's his name? Peter Carey? Peter Karp, and that particular trip, and that was in 2010, so I'm assuming this was the same one. And this particular individual was on the bill as well. So we did a couple of times before, we did this twice before the big D came, divorce. When I say that for Deb. So, but there was this acoustic blues musician that had just an incredible Eastern meets Western approach to his playing, as well as his wording and phrasing, folk storytelling, and most importantly, a wildly calm spiritual nature that wound it all up tight. This is the incredible and world folk blues and Hindustani classical musician, Canadian, Harry Manx on Unknown Sundays 2025. Now, if you want to see an impressive, complicated-looking guitar, holy shit, he's got a lot of them. And I just the sheer look of them makes me think that I would never be able to play any of that ever. I mean, there's extra knobs and stuff. Not only that, but he also plays slide guitar, 6-string banjo, that thing that's what's called a mohan veena. That's the one that looks terrifying. Got harmonica as well, and then the Ellie stomp box. So when I first witnessed his live performance, you knew that when he picked up that mohan veena, that it was not going to be your typical blues expression. It was going to have that tint of Middle Eastern and I've seen another individual pick that up before, and that individual is Jeff Martin of the Tea Party. Now that's an entirely different angle in progressive rock. Now, so that's how cool that instrument can become. The richness and the cultural feel that it adds to the blues, rhythmic intricacies. He was not the headliner of the show, but I can tell you right now that most people were utterly engaged, and that's hard to do in a drunken, natured crowd that had been sitting in the sun for many hours. So you could feel the confidence in the instrumentation, the compositions, and to top it off, Harry Mannix had a lyrical delivery that puts him on a plate with Bob Dylan, like in a folk expression that he has, modifying the accessibility to another level altogether, which is what you want from an artist, right? So Mannix's journey, he goes from Japan. Basically, he's in Japan, and suddenly he hears that slide guitar, but it's being played by Vishwa Mohan Bhatt. Now he is India's slide guitarist, and somehow that methodology, that spiritualism, leads him to studying under him for 5 years. I mean, that's a far cry from sound guy he was at the Alma Combo in Toronto, which is a rock club there. So the love of that music, the passion, the attention to the art of mastering it must have come with great sacrifice to family life, that's for sure. And it reflects in some of the music and wording that he uses, but he chooses them extremely careful and respectfully. And whether it's a playful blues lick or it's a deeper reflective sadness, I think he even says in his live shows, he goes, the blues isn't always sad. It's about making somebody else feel sad. So he has there's a balance of hope in it, and the vocal inflections and stories he tells. Some of the stories have been with him for years. They've been utilized in different varieties and other different instruments and arrangements.
You swore off vice and habit, trying to save your face, but need some loving, girl. No, I have it just to decorate your place.
But there's always a valiant and brilliantly played, leaving nothing to feel the same. Now, the Grateful Dude on the show tonight. You didn't know him prior, right? Till the show?
I've heard of him. I've heard of him through another friend who's a guitarist. I've heard of him, but no, I haven't listened to him. But I listened to, I think, 6 albums, including a mix he did with, what was his name? I can't remember right now. Hans Christian.
Okay.
Did an album with him, which I really liked.
Yeah, he did. He's done a lot of those kind of things, even like the one with Johnny. He did a Johnny Cash tribute kind of thing.
Yeah, but One Sweet Home, which I think I don't know. I think it may be his latest. I really like the album.
Faith Lift was the last record.
Oh, okay.
But those are like Faith Lift is actually some songs redone again. Well, we'll leave that to the end here because I do give a chronological thing. So
Bread and Buddha was a great album.
Yeah, Bread and Buddha. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he does have that play on words for his albums, which are unique. That's another refreshing kind of thing about him.
And Mantras from Advent.
Yes.
Great album. A really good album. He reminds me a little bit of Bob Dylan. Mm-hmm. And a cross between Bob Dylan and George Harrison.
Oh, okay, that's a fair comparison.
Yeah, I found from every album I listened to was a lot different. They weren't the same at all. None of the albums you can listen to 3 albums, and unless you knew who you're listening to, you never guess it.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. Mannix's journey, um, like he busks in England, right?
yeah,
So, and then he spends 10 years playing in Japan. Then he's off with this guy for 5 years learning, slide Indian guitar, and then he's back to Toronto in Ontario, and I'm in a winery in a field, and he's playing, you know. It's crazy, right? But these musical experiences don't happen unless you seek them out. People
right,
who don't shrug that shrug their shoulders. I don't know anybody on the bill. I don't know anybody on the bill, right? I didn't know anybody on the bill, but there's always somebody's got to come from somewhere. And here's a guy who had traveled the world, and he wasn't even the headliner
right,
of the event. Probably got more musical talent than half the people, or all the people that were there, but just humble and played it beautifully. You know, Harry Mannix was in it to win it that afternoon, that hot afternoon, and he let his digital dexterity and bluesy vocal ragas, which he incorporates quite a bit, to thrill the capacity crowd. I mean, you had to get there early because the grass fills up pretty quick. People bringing lawn chairs and all kinds of food and stuff. So, and it's not that big of a place. There's a picture on the website if you want in the article. So it he it was like John Lee Hooker, all right, and Bob Dylan with a little bit of Keb Mo. You got John Hyatt too because he's got that, he's acoustically in that guitar strumming, and it's like the writing patterns of a Bruce Coburn or a Leonard Cohen. It was very ear opening. I picked up 2 CDs at the venue, Dog My Cat, and as you mentioned, Mantras for Madmen. At least that's what I believe because it was a while ago. He has a wonderful naming philosophy to some of his solo records. Um, Dog My Cat, Wise and Otherwise, just West Eats Meat, like you even said, bread and Buddha, yeah, it's just really, really good. Um, So when you have this kind of grasp, he's got this talent and the instrument, you have this ability to bend and change any music genre. And but you also can do those same kind of changes in existing songs. So Harry Mannix is no stranger to rooting a cover. And he's done it with Long Black Veil. He's done it with Baby Please Don't Go, Ship of Fools, Voodoo Child, and of course the award-winning cover of Bruce Springsteen's I'm on Fire. In fact, he is featured on the Acoustic Cafe album by the world famous Putumayo series, where he does the cover of Van Morrison's Crazy Love. It's been quite some time since he's actually recorded any new material. A lot of the last few records, like Faith Lift from 2017, have reimagined certain songs under different string settings. In fact, the last album that I believe has all new material would be Sweet So the good news is he remains a touring musician, and currently he's in Ontario over the next couple of weeks, kind of going into the areas of Ontario, and then he'll be traveling westward throughout Ontario. I don't know if he's actually ever stepped into Buffalo. I can't imagine that he hasn't. I just never got to see him here. So is this something that would be
it's
he's
in
going to
my
be
wheelhouse.
say again?
It's in my wheelhouse.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I plan to go down a small rabbit hole. Listen, listen to more of this stuff.
Yeah, yeah, he's definitely I kind of figured that when I was doing this. I'm like, geez, I'm hoping he can get in on this by the time we go to air. Um I would highly recommend that you do see Mr. Mannix in person. You would be wise and otherwise to do so. And of course, if you have the chance to pick up any of the albums, you will definitely be enjoying those. If he picks up the electric guitar and you're at a live show, please press record because I have yet to witness that, I think. So I'd love to see how he does that these days. The Harry Mannix albums. Dog My Cat in 2001. I have that record. Wise and Otherwise in 2002, which I have. He did Jubilee with Kevin Bright, and that's from 2003. Road Ragus, which just happen to have a few of these out here. This is a live recording. That's in 2003 as well. West Eats Meat in 2004. The album that Jeff talked about briefly was the Mantras for Madmen in 2005. Then he again went with Kevin Bright in Good We Trust in 2007. He did a live recording at the Glenn Gould Studio. That's very much worth your time in 2008. Then Bread and Buddha in 2009. I have that as well. Strictly Whatever with Kevin Bright again in 2011. Then the last new material was Sweet in 2013. The Beautiful 20 Strings and the Truth in 2014, which is a reimagination of his songs. I think a couple of covers, if I'm not mistaken, too. And then Faith Lift in 2017, which is the last recording. Also kind of a more reimagined. So what did you think of Harry Mannix? If you've known him before, please let us know, comment, subscribe. I mean, the style of interlacing of Eastern instrumentation, slide guitar, blues, and folk storytelling. Come on, who wouldn't love to hear that? Is he now one of those unique audio sounds in blues for sure? If you're new to the channel, please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Oh, you know us, we're on the web at beyondyourradio.com. I thank the Grateful Dude for chiming in this wonderful Unknown Sunday. We'll see you next week for New Riders of the Purple Sage. We're going to go a little bit back in time. We got articles, videos, podcasts coming here in April, albums, bands, artists, anything we can get our hands on. You know the routine. Go Beyond Your Radio, a real music appreciation channel. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, and happy listening.